Okay, and now time for something a little bit more interesting. So this time we're going to take a look at the Super Imaginative Chogokin Hakaider from the Kikaider series. So before I actually start talking about this figure, we need to do a little history lesson. The original Kikaider series was made in the early 1970s by Shotaro Ishinomori, and if you know anything about him, he's the same guy who created Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. So this dude is like one of the pioneers of superheroes and tokusatsu in Japan. Hakaider is the villain in that series and was created by the Doctor as an ultimate android specifically to kill Kikaider. And he has like this super cool looking like slick like black armor design with like yellow like lightning streaks on it, and he has an exposed brain, and he's a left-handed with his gun and everything, so he shoots with his left hand because apparently the suit actor was left-handed. Eventually, so Kikaider eventually started off as a manga and tokusatsu series, and later Hakaider appears in that series. They have similar names. This figure specifically comes from the Super Imaginative Chogokin line, and that originally started off in 1998, which was originally a line of die-cast like statues made specifically for Ishinomori directed series. So for Kikaider and Kamen Rider. Eventually, Garo got the other tokusatsu series, Garo, that wasn't made by Ishinomori, but was made by a guy called Keita Amemiya. And Keita Amemiya did the Hakaider movie. And the Hakaider movie, aka Mechanical Violator Hakaider, which came out in 1995, changed Hakaider from being just a villain to an anti-hero in a more post-apocalyptic setting where Michael, or Makaeru, however they pronounce it in the Japanese version, is basically a corrupted Kikaider and is being used for evil purposes, and Hakaider's job is to basically kill him and set him free basically from his corrupt programming. Keita Amemiya created the Garo series, and so Garo later being added to the Super Imaginative Chogokin line is pretty interesting and really cool, because this version of Hakaider kind of resembles the movie version, but it's also really unique and has its own spin on it. So Super Imaginative Chogokin, like I mentioned, is a bunch of die-cast like statues that started in 1998 from Bandai. But the thing is that so they started with Kamen Rider, and Kikaider was actually the first one, and then Kamen Rider basically took over. But the thing is that these are made in a 1/10/7" scale, so they're larger than your average like SH Figuarts or Figma or whatever. But they go for a more detail-oriented sculpt and a ton more paint detail. The articulation is more limited because they're focusing on the sculpt, so think like NECA, like how NECA has really detailed figures but they don't pose super well. But they went from statues to actual figures, kind of like McFarlane, where he went from like very limited posability to having more posable figures, even if those figures suck. So then Hakaider managed to get some figures in the SH Figuarts line, where it had one based on the original, and it came with the bike, and I think Kikaider also got one that came with the little car with the little passenger seat thing that he has, like the little sidecar. I've seen that one, it's kind of cool, but I don't remember how much it was. So this version of the figure kind of takes from Keita Amemiya's design and kind of incorporates it and turns it into its own thing, because there's a lot of elements here that are very similar. But with that being all said, let's finally talk about the figure. This particular figure for Hakaider came out in 2016, and I only know about this figure line because when I went to Book Off, I was trying to buy a gift for like my friend for his birthday, and I saw this really cool looking figure with like these like dinosaur or like dragon type tails or like spikes coming out of it, and I looked at the face of it, and it had like the big bug eyes, and I was like, oh shit, wait, is that a Kamen Rider figure? So I eventually bought it, and I found out that it's from the Super Imaginative Chogokin, and it's based on Kamen Rider O's with the three O's or the 3 zeros on it. And his whole gimmick is that he has like a bajillion different fucking transformations and combinations, and one of them is based on like one of his purple transformations. I'll put the name on screen. And here's what it looks like in the original tokusatsu TV show, in like the SH figure arts. And then here's what it looks like in the Super Imaginative Chogokin. Like, it looks so fucking cool. I'm really upset that I didn't get to keep that figure. I gave it to my friend because he's a Kamen Rider fan, and I'm not really much of one because I haven't really watched any. I still want to, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's like, man, I should have kept that thing. Oh well. Anyway, let's talk about the Hakaider figure because I've been rambling for too long. Okay, so Hakaider stands at about 7.5 inches, goddamn. Almost 7.5 inches. I'm gonna say 7 1/4, 7.5, which means he's like what? Almost like 18.5 centimeters, like I'd say, give or take. Yeah, he's fucking tall. Fucking tall. And just for comparison's sake, here's another figure that I'm going to be reviewing. Here's Kamen Rider Hibiki. He also has a Super Imaginative Chogokin, I just don't have it. You can see right here, look at the difference between your typical 8-inch, your typical 6-inch figure, and then this guy. Like, yeah, he's too big, and it's probably better to get one that's... It'd be better if they made one that's in a normal size, but considering he's like this super tall, badass, like RoboCop, like Terminator type dude, I think him being taller makes him more intimidating, so I'm okay with that. But man, look at Hibiki, he gets dwarfed. Hibiki's dwarfed by this dude. Alright, so let's talk about the aesthetic. So it's gonna be kind of hard because the source material is different, and the movie itself is different from the figure, because it's its own interpretation, like its own original one. So I can only judge it based on like how it looks. We can at least talk about what details they got right based on the original Hakaider and the movie. As you can see right here, they actually kept the big chrome dome that he has, like that clear dome that reveals his brain, and they even made it so that the eyes kind of like the dome kind of covers the eyes, so he kind of has like that frowning, menacing look. And in the right light, it does look like he's pissed off all the time, and they even kept, you see like the way his face is right here, like if you look at his profile like this, it looks a lot like the Keita Amamiya movie version, which I think which is what they were going for without it outright just being the movie version. They wanted to make, I think, like a version of it while also incorporating their own elements, like more detailed sculpt and everything, but like wow, it looks so cool. Like, he looks so pissed. I mean, kind of hard to film because he's like all black, but yeah, I think he looks great. Yeah, you can see right here the brain, the seam. There's not too bad of a seam right there. I think it looks good. You can see like he even has like teeth. Like, why does a robot have teeth? I don't know. Like, look at that. Yeah, I think this guy looks so cool. I'm trying to get it to focus. Yeah, this guy looks awesome. And then he had like, oh yeah, in the movie he also had like these little things protruding from his neck or whatever, and then he had like this cool collar. This part is different, this chest. In the original movie he had like a more flat design with like the lightning pattern kind of on it, like more like the original Hakaider from the TV show. But here, like, he has like this like almost rib cage, like what is this, like. And also, he has like this big scar right here on his in the middle, and I believe the reason he has this chest compartment is because he had like a fucking bomb, if I remember correctly. So he has like an open chest, sort of like Guyver, but Guyver shoots an energy blast. And then here you can see the shoulders. Like, look at the shoulder pads. Look how cool they look. They also move to the sides and everything, but we'll talk about that later. There's a purple see-through plastic right here. You can see it kind of gives it a bit more detail. I wish it like glue. I wish it had like a glow to it, but it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, he's basically like in a almost matte black, like grayish black, and I think he looks really good. And then here you can see like whatever the hell this is. I forget what this is supposed to be. But you can see that. You can see the details on his back. Like, look at his back. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. Look at his back. His back looks so cool. And then like there's this gold, like yellowish gold trim right here that goes all the way around to the front. And it splits off here. That looks so nice. And his arms, you can see, even his shoulders have detail. It has like this little like pattern on it. And then even on the back, you can see that there's something there. And like the detailed sculpt, you can see that there's like ridges and there's other things here. There's like purple trim right going through like the forearm and the bicep and the forearm. Just riddled with detail. And he even has like his own little elbow pads that help like make the articulation not look so weird. Yeah, I'm in love with the detail on this thing. And also look at like the stomach area. The stomach area, he's like these little like rivets and everything, and then like purple like plated right here, and just like multiple like plates right here. You see, there's like this really cool pattern. It kind of reminds me of Karas, like Karas, the Tatsunoko anime. We had like a lot of these like different like plates and everything. Like look at that. It even looks like he has a spine and everything. Like that looks so cool. You can see it right here too. It's supposed to like seamlessly connect. His belt has like a bunch of rivets that are really well painted. You can actually see like a little bit of a glow when it catches the light. And there's like some black wash here to give it like more panel lining and detail. And he has like this big cross right here on the red buckle. Some flat gray, and they could have added a little bit more here, I think. Sorry, they could have added a little bit more here, but he looks extremely good. Even like the crotch area has like a lot of detail. You can see he has like this pointy bit right here on his crotch area. Like these things kind of connect right here. It's all really well. He even has like an ass, but his ass is fucking flat. He has like no ass, but he doesn't really need one, I guess. Well, maybe it's flat because he sits on that bike so much. This one doesn't come with a bike, sadly, but we'll talk about that later. And his legs. Like, look at the leg detail. Look at this. Like, this is so cool. Like, there's little, like, rivets and shit here. Like, you can see right here on the leg. And then, like, all this. And then, like, the gold on the sides of the thighs right here. And the purple trim continues onto the bottom part of the leg. Like, yeah, look at this. So much plating and everything on him to give him so much detail. Like, I know he's already a tokusatsu character, but this, like, seeing this, like, you could totally see this in a live action movie or in a TV show. He just looks the part. I think he looks awesome. You can even see, like, the asymmetrical knee pads, where he has, like, this little thing here on his knee pad, and something right here. And if I remember correctly, you can remove this, this part of the leg. Why can you remove it? Well, that's a secret. And we will talk about that later. But you can see it's removable. There's a little gap right here. But I can probably show you if I can get it out. Yeah, see, look, even on the inside, look, they have a bunch of detail. But even on the inside, you can see like all these little like etchings and everything on his body. Like they went all in on the sculpt. And he even had like these pointy looking feet that have a lot of plating and everything on it. Like look at this. Like damn, this guy looks great. Yeah, so why can he remove his leg thingy? We'll talk about that later. I gotta try and put this back on. And it doesn't look too noticeable. Like, you can't tell unless I told you that you could remove that, see? Pretty seamless. Okay, so for me, I'm giving his aesthetic probably, I'm gonna say 9.5 out of 10. Like, he looks awesome. Like, I remember when I took him out of the box the first time a couple months ago, I was like, holy shit, this is Hakaider. Like, he looked exactly how I thought he looked in my head. Like, yeah, he doesn't look like the way he does in the movie, but I'd argue he looks better than the movie version. Just because, like, wow, this dude has so much detail. So yeah, aesthetically, I gotta give him like I think probably a 10 out of 10. He looks amazing, but I'll say 9.5 because, you know, nothing's perfect, but 9.5 out of 10. He looks fucking awesome. Oh yeah, and I'd even mention like his gloves. Like, look at his gloves. He has like these little like things right here on the gloves, and then you can see like they even painted like the hands, like the little fingers, and they all have the same gold color. Like this is like the colors are all consistent and everything. Like they all match the finishes. Like the things that are supposed to be like grayish black, they're all grayish black. The things that are supposed to be gold, they're gold. Like this dirty yellow gold, and the red is red. So everything's fine. And the eyes have like this cool pearlescent look to it. Like, look at that. Like, it really catches the light really well. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9.5 out of 10. I think for aesthetic, he looks amazing. Okay, so now we're gonna do articulation, and this is the part where it doesn't ruin it, but I still think he's a little limited. Okay, so the head can go like this. Can't go up too high, but he can look down really well. I'm not sure why he's gonna be looking down from all the way over there. He's looking at his own crotch, I guess. But I guess you can use it to have him stare down at somebody because he's already intimidating as fuck. So not much head tilt, sadly, due to the way the neck looks and everything. So he can mostly look up, kinda, only a little bit, but do a hell of a lot looking down, so I'm not sure. You're kinda just gonna leave his head in a neutral position, but you can be subtle. Like, you can give him some attitudes. He looks like he's about to fucking kill somebody. Same on this side. Like, he looks intimidating. He still looks intimidating, even if his neck isn't perfect, but it's fine. As for the shoulders, you cannot rotate this as you could with a lot of other figures because it's not attached to his body. Like it's not attached to his arm, it's attached to his back. That's what this is. This little cool looking back thing I showed earlier is just to hold this. So you can move these up, but you can't do a full rotation. It's kind of hard to do 90 degrees straight, but he can make his arm go all the way up as much as it can. He can bring his arms to the side like a ridiculous amount. Look at this. That's pretty good. His arms can go up about as high as they can, like this. And sadly, he can't bring his arm inward in any way due to the design, and also there's no room for a butterfly joint, so that sucks. So that's the only negative I have. He can't really do much like that. He can kind of just go like this. That's kind of it. And that doesn't really work for me. He does have a bicep swivel. It's a little squeaky, but it does work. Wait, let me show you again. Yeah, so he does have bicep swivel. It's a little squeaky, but it does work, so it's fine. He has double jointed elbows, and they are fantastic. Like, look at that range. That's amazing range. So he can do some boxing poses or whatever if you need him to. He can throw hands. And then, of course, his wrists are on the typical ball hinge sort of thing. Like, look at this. I'm having a hard time rotating them. I don't know if they can be moved, or if you can only move them vertically like this. So, I don't know. I don't know if you can. Yeah, so his arms are really good. And also, you can drop them down slightly and put them back up. So, even though the shoulder pads do kind of get in the way, they're not super intrusive, so it's not that bad. As for this part, the chest, you can move it. You can move it like this. You can move it back like this, which is not too much. You can move it to the side pretty well, actually. Hey, look at that lean. It's pretty good lean. Same on the other side. Arguably slightly more on the side, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. Hey, look at that, that's great. Kind of fucks up his stomach, but... And then going forward, it's about this much. So not the best range, but the side to side is really good. And then if you combine it with the stomach area, the stomach goes like this. So it lets him lean forward like this, even though it's a small gap. But look at that. He can lean in pretty well. And then if you combine both, it gets a little stuck up here. If you combine both, if you don't mind the gapping, he can lean all the way back. And then all the way to the side. You can do some really good leaning to the side. That looks good too. Same on this side. Look at this. That's great. Look at this. Yeah, so his upper body is pretty good, despite like the issues, and also it can rotate like almost all the way. And he can rotate decently on the top part, but the bottom part can rotate almost all the way. Look at this. It's not loose, but he's actually a pretty solid figure. I don't know if he's specifically made out of diecast, but I know most of the SIC figures are made of diecast. Him, I'm not sure specifically. Okay, so now for his legs, which I think is the only disappointing part, especially here. So the hips, they barely go out to the side. Like, look at this. This is so disappointing. I wish they would go out to the side more. If they went out to the side, he would be a perfect figure. But no, he only gets this kind of range. And just to show you a difference, let me grab Kamen Rider Hibiki again, so I can show you his range. So look at this. Hold on, let me move his little belt thing. So here's Kamen Rider Hibiki's range. You can see right here. You can basically do like a full, almost a full split. Like, this is pretty good range. Like, look at that kick. He could do a big kick if he wanted to. And then you look at, and then you look at Hakaider, and he can't fucking split for anything, which sucks. Like, even if you go like this to try and like open his legs to the side, the peg is way too short. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but the peg is way too short and there's not enough room in there to let him do what you want him to. So if there is a way to modify it, I would love to know. I don't think there will be a way to modify it, so I'm just kind of stuck with the short range. He's almost like the SH figures, Vegeta figures that have like really bad range, especially the new one that came out where like he can barely kick to the side, which is disappointing, but he's not a martial artist, so I guess it's not a big deal. If he can split his legs enough to at least sit on a bike, that's fine. Like, I think this is okay enough for a bike, right? Like just sitting like this on a bike, I think that'll work for him. So, besides that, disappointingly, he barely has thigh swivel. It's almost like a fucking McFarlane or a Mafex. We're like, what the fuck is this? Why doesn't it move more than that? Same here. Like, here it moves a little bit more, but very limited. It goes outward, but not inward. I wish they just cut it here so that it would just, you know, twist around from here, but I guess they didn't want to break the design. His knees are great though. He has perfect double jointed knees, and they actually are the right type of anatomy. See, like, it's up to where his butt would be. If it was any higher, it'd be too high. I think it's a little too high, but looking good enough to me. Yeah, so he can do some dynamic poses if you want him to. He can do some dynamic poses, but it's Hakaider, and Hakaider doesn't really do dynamic poses. Or at least the movie version doesn't do dynamic poses. He's more of like an imposing, like, walking killing machine, like Terminator, or like when RoboCop is going in on all of those criminals. Yeah, he's supposed to be kind of like that, but yeah, he can bend his knees, even though it looks weird, but yeah, so, oh yeah, wait, and then his, oh yeah, I didn't talk about his wrists. Oh no, I did. And then his toes, his feet, unfortunately have a lot of limited range due to the sculpt right here. And also, his toe hinge is okay, but it looks kind of ugly. So overall, let me see, what can I give his articulation? Because everything except for his, like, hip area is good. Like, if this had more range, I'm trying to give it more range. You see, this is why. Because it has this. Okay, it's a good thing it pops off. So this is why. You see, it doesn't have a normal ball joint. It has, like, whatever the fuck this is. So it doesn't allow it to move much. So it's a good thing I was able to... Good thing it didn't break, but yeah, this is why it's limited. So Hakaider comes with the following accessories. He comes with an alternate chest piece, which has the exposed, like, brain thing. Or, not the exposed brain. Which has the exposed, like, ticking time bomb thing that he has on his chest. So it's like when he's, you know, like, screw, I'm just gonna blow up. He has 2 clenchy hands, 2 fist hands that come with him in the package. 1 gun holding hand, and then another kind of grippy hand, but it doesn't hold the gun, so I'm not sure what the grippy hand is for. He also comes with his signature rocket launching fucking giant shotgun thing. There's a scene in the movie where he completely destroys an entire building just by shooting like one fucking rocket. Like, it's like fucking, you know, the Nikita in like Metal Gear Solid or whatever? Like, he shoots that and then it blows up the entire fucking facility. Like, what? How did he... He has like the Resident Evil 4 rocket launcher. And then he also has an alternate leg piece, which I mentioned, which allows him to pull the gun from his leg, kind of like RoboCop, and pull it out. So let me show you how some of that stuff works. To take his hands off, you just kind of go like this. And then that's it. And you can see he has like these big little ball pegs right here to stick out. And then you just kind of wedge it in. And yeah, you have an annoying gap right here, which I still don't like, but at least it fits. And it does offer more range, so not too bad. Especially like this, like you can see the range. It's almost like half. So that's fine. And then let me show you the gun arm, the gun hand. With the gun head. The gun head is something else. Okay, so here's the gun hand. Normally I hate when they give you hands that don't... Like, I hate when like they give you weapon accessories that can't easily fit in, but watch this. It's actually not that tough. You kind of just wedge it in, like this. Let me see if I can do it on camera. Kind of just wedge it. Like this. Kind of slide it through. And then you put it in his hand, and bam. Yeah, now you can see Hakaider has his gun. I think he looks really awesome this way. It's like the only thing he comes with though, so he doesn't come with a whole lot of accessories. So the chest thing, let me see if I remember how to do this, because I didn't bring the instructions. I think you literally just take this part off. I think it's right here. This bottom part? Oh no, it's right here on the sides. Look, even here you can see that there's a decent amount of detail. Not decent, there's a lot of detail. You can see right here, like, I think that's like where his heart's supposed to be, where his robotic heart's supposed to be, and then all this and this. Yeah, so you take that part out, and you swap it with this one, and it pegs in through these little holes here, and then you just go like this. And that's it. And now he has like the more exposed chest piece, which you could argue looks a bit better because it's more purple, and the purple matches the things on the side here and here. But I do like the one with the scar because it's like more concealed. And then for the leg, let me show you. Yes, I showed you earlier, you can remove this part by going like this. Just kind of get in between it. Go like this, and then you pop it out, then you put it back in, like you put this other one in here like this, and it's supposed to look like it's partially opened. So you wedge it in between this gold part and go like this, and then it's supposed to fit like this, and it's supposed to look open because, you know, he's opening his leg, the compartment in his leg, and then you take the gun out with his hand, and then you put it like this. If I remember correctly, it's like this. Is it like that? and bam, you just do it like this. So it looks kind of like the RoboCop thing, except he has it on his lower left leg, whereas RoboCop had it right here on his upper right thigh. So same idea basically, where they pull out an awesome gun and then they start kicking everyone's ass. So yeah, he doesn't have a lot of accessories, and I'm really disappointed he doesn't come with the bike, because all of the older ones came with a bike, but this one specifically doesn't, because I guess Bandai's cheap. And this figure is worth a decent amount of money on the aftermarket, because you know they don't make this one anymore. And it came out like over like 10 years, almost 10 years ago, I think, in 2016. So it came out a while ago. So yeah, no bike, alternate chest piece, the alternate leg thing for the gun, and then like 3 pairs of hands. I'm gonna say like 7 out of 10. 7. No, I'll say yeah, 7 out of 10, because the bike would have made it like better. And I think having a bit more hands would have been cool, like maybe like a pointing hand or something else. He doesn't need any other different expressions, because he doesn't make different expressions when he's transformed, so it doesn't really work. So yeah, I'm gonna say like 7 for accessories, just because like barely comes with anything, and he's expensive. He's a little expensive given the price and lack of accessories. Yeah, so overall, I think the SIC Hakaider, Super Imaginative Chogokin Hakaider, I think he gets like I'm gonna give him a solid 8, because while his articulation is limited, his sculpt is amazing, but I still think the accessories make him lose some points. So I'm gonna go with a solid 8, because I think not having enough accessories and having really bad hips limits his potential. Because yeah, he can kick forward all the way, which is cool, but you know, the butt cheek gets in the way, so it's like, well. So I'm gonna give him a solid 8. I think he's still awesome though, so my objective number is 8, but if you want me to give you my personal number, I'm gonna say 9, because I think he looks fucking awesome and he represents the movie and everything really well. It's just that he's out of scale with the figures I usually collect, so he's a little too big, but I think it helps because it makes him look super intimidating, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, so if you're interested in getting this guy, you're gonna have to look online for SIC Hakaider 2016 or Tamashii Web exclusive or whatever. It took me a while to find it, but I found it on like Japanese Mercari, so good luck finding it. So, alright, that's it. See ya.